Negro Leagues Baseball Museum is about a lot more than just baseball, right? It's about baseball, but it transcends baseball. It's about race, it's about risk, it's about entrepreneurship, struggle and triumph. And this is a story that needs to be told far and wide, right? To our children and their children and their children's children, right? And Bob is the best storyteller that I know. He tells the story against the backdrop of American history.
They could ride into a town, fill up the ballpark, but yet not be able to get something to eat from the same fans who had just cheered them, or not have a place to stay. But their spirits were such that if I've got to sleep on the bus, and if I've got to eat my peanut butter and crackers, I'm gonna keep playing ball. So our story is not a woe is mine kind of story. These athletes never cried about the social injustice. They went out and did something about it. You won't let me play with you in the major leagues? Then I will create a league of my own. So while America was trying to prevent them from sharing in the joys of its national pastime, it was the American spirit that allowed them to persevere and prevail. What's not to love about that kind of story?
The Negro Leagues had to be in Kansas City. This is where it was born. And all of the great players have come through here. So the history here is deep and rich. Buck O'Neill, he told me, look, we've got to get Bob Kendrick installed as the president and CEO of the Negro Leagues Museum.
I see Buck in Bob's eyes. I see Buck in Bob's heart. Bob has that spirit in him that Buck had, that spirit of, again, connecting people, getting creative with storytelling, and this gregarious personality that you want to be around.
This museum is an amazing destination. It's a feather in our cap. It's not just a sports museum. It is a cultural museum. It's a civil rights museum. That's why this museum's unique, because it allows us to utilize our love for sports to tell our history, to seek inspiration, and to address the challenges of the day in a unique way.
I think it's important for any museum, but particularly a history museum, and even more so a cultural institution like the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, is that you find ways to establish relevancy. You have to. And so we needed to find creative, innovative ways to connect with our young people. So for us, one of the key contributors to this has been, of all things, a video game. Now, it just happens to be the biggest baseball video game in the world, MLB The Show. And it has been by far one of the biggest things this museum has ever done, because it has opened up Negro Leagues history to millions upon millions of young folks and young adults who, honestly, I don't know if they would have ever thought about the Negro Leagues until we put them into the video game.
In a world where so many things divide us, sports can be very much a unifying power. He believes in the purpose of that institution. He has great passion for it, and that comes across in his storytelling.
This museum stands as a bold reminder to the rest of the country that some of the most significant things that have happened in the United States of America happened right here in the middle of America.
Well, we've actually outgrown our home. And so we've announced plans to build what I call the nation's first Negro Leagues campus as the gateway into historic 18th and Vine, and an international headquarters for both Black baseball and social history. And this is going to be absolutely transformational for historic 18th and Vine, and it dovetails beautifully into these other major projects that are going on here in our great city. Kansas City's on fire.
Bob's fantastic. He's one of those quintessential Kansas City leaders. He brings you in. And that's, what the museum does is he brings people in.
When you think of Kansas City, you think of Bob Kendrick. And you think of his leadership, you think of his civic engagement, you think of his storytelling.
Bob Kendrick is probably the number one salesperson on planet Earth. No, in the galaxy. I think Bob could sell, somebody a rock, they think it was a car. 100 years from now, they're going to be talking about Bob Kendrick and what he did to preserve the work, the memory, and the contributions of the Negro Leagues.